for being here.
Yeah.
And I have my student that is in Switzerland. She's the only one that watches on LinkedIn. She's a big LinkedIn lady, and she always watches our classes on LinkedIn. And I think she's the only one who watches on LinkedIn. So, hi, uh,
Hi.
how's it going? How's everything? And hi, Zildetch is her name. Hi, Zildetch on LinkedIn. Okay, let's go to our audio and
Don't
away
look.
we go. Yes, don't look. Very good. Where did it go? I forgot to open it. Damn it. Hate it when I do stuff like that. So, meanwhile, tell us about your last trip. You went to Florida, is that right?
All right. I went to Miami. I like
Okay.
Miami so much.
Yeah. What do you like about Miami?
Um, Miami. I like the restaurants and the drinks.
The drinks. So, what's your favorite drink in
Aperol
Miami?
spritz.
Oh, that's right. Is it is it
Yes.
Aperol? Asperol?
Aperol.
Whatever. Aperol. Okay. Aperol spritz. Okay. Uh, what's yours? You're the one. So you're the one that told me about that. So I tried that. And you're also the one that told me about the Moscow Mule.
Moscow Mule, yeah. But now my favorite drink is Aperol spritz.
Okay. And that is that your husband's
The
too? Is that what you
second, the
told me?
second is Moscow Mule.
Okay. So very good. What else did you do while you were in Miami?
I ate a lot of oysters. How can I say
Oysters?
oysters? Yes,
Really?
oysters. It
Okay.
really are. Oh
A
my
lot,
god,
a lot, a lot.
a lot.
Okay.
And uh, lobsters.
Oh God, I love lobster. Lobster is so good. I love
My
actually
husband, my husband and I, we are so crazy with lobsters and
crazy about lobsters.
about with
Yeah.
about about lobsters and oysters.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, I would say seafood is probably my favorite food, and I live in Palmas. So like, how many miles away from the sea? But I love it. When we went to like
Yes,
what's
me too.
that? Galinhas. I forgot the name.
Galinhas,
The
chickens.
no, but yeah, thank you, thank you for the translation. No, the praia is it the beach? That's the something Galinhas. I forgot.
Porto de Galinhas.
Porto de Galinhas. Yes, I mean, who names a chicken port? What is that all about? Anyway, so we when we went to Porto de Galinhas, then I got
What?
we had I think we had like 5 or 6 people, and we got one of those big seafood.
I love
It was
so.
like a boat. It was like a boat full of seafood with all
Yes,
different kinds.
I
Oh,
know.
so good. Oh my goodness.
Like
So
like us in Miami.
yeah. So every time we go to the beach, we went to Morro de São Paulo, and we did the same thing. Lots of seafood, and that's one of the things I really miss is seafood. I live in Brazil and don't have seafood because you live
Yes.
in the middle of the damn country. All right, let's go with the audio. I finally figured out what was going on here. So don't look, and
Okay.
here is the audio for lesson 47.
Lesson 47.
Hello.
Actually, let me double check, make sure. I had a student that was talking really loud, so I had to turn down my audio.
Lesson 47.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
I already went. I was there last week.
How was the weather?
It was terrible. Really cold.
That's too bad.
It's okay. But I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Don't worry, I'm much better now. And you, are you going to swim in the river?
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
Okay. What did you understand?
Bom, ótimo. A minha funcionária entrou bem na hora, ficou aqui olhando pra minha cara esperando eu terminar, me desconcertei inteira.
You want to hear it again? We can listen again.
Yes, please!
Okay. Here we go again.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
I already went. I was there last week.
How was the weather?
It was terrible, really cold.
That's too bad.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Don't worry, I'm much better now. And you, are you going to swim in the river?
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
Um, the Rachel met Jack and he said that went to New York.
Yeah, he went.
He went to went não, ele tá indo.
Okay.
É porque ele falou que está indo. Complicou,
Okay.
calma.
That's okay. That's okay.
He said that he going.
He was going.
He
Right? Because he
was
said that
go.
he was going.
He was going to New York, and she said that just arrived
That-
there.
So in this case, que ela tinha, right? She had acabou.
Acabado de
So,
chegar.
yes, so she had just arrived.
She had just arrived.
Mhm.
He, faz sentido. É, and she said about the weather in New York when she was here, and she said
When she was there.
it's there.
And
Fala.
go ahead. No, because I don't want you to forget. So keep going and I'll
And she said was cold.
She said it was cold because the weather or the temperature.
Isso. It was cold. E eu já não lembro mais nada.
Okay.
Alguma coisa sobre swim,
Swimming,
swimming, nadar, mas
Yeah.
no frio, tá.
Right.
Não,
So that's why she said it was a crazy idea. The other thing is when we say, instead of saying she said about, for example, she said about the weather. If you just say that, then because of about, then we use talk. She talked about. And that's when, usually, you're right, we use say and we use tell, usually when the focus is on the information, unless we use about. And about changes that whole thing. And if we use about, then we use almost always talk about. Speak about would be very formal, but talk about, so in that case, she talked about the weather, or she said the weather was cold, or something like that. But if you add
she
about,
said there is cold.
yeah. But if you can add about, there's no problem. It's just that it changes the verb then if you add
Okay.
about. Okay, good stuff. Let's take a look. Let's listen and look. And let me see. So I'm going to try something here. I want to try and, well, I think we might have already tried it, but let's try it again. Tell me if you can hear. Oh no, I already know you can't. So I'll play it and then you look at the written and then I'll bring up the written after I play. So, in other in other words, let's just do it again.
Lesson 47.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
I already went. I was there last week.
How was the weather?
It was terrible, really cold.
That's too bad.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Don't worry, I'm much better now. And you, are you going to swim in the river?
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
Have a nice trip, Jack. Hello.
Okay. So, what was the crazy idea?
É, nadar no rio gelado.
Yes. So, it's I think when I imagine that, when I think about that, I think about those young uh, professionals that are kind of crazy. Like there's a show, there's a TV show on HBO that is, I think it's called Industry or something like that. It's a bunch of young, just crazy professionals, day traders and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I think of when I think of people getting, like, just being crazy on a business trip and swimming in the river.
Yes.
And you can
No.
tell she was a little sick when we did the audio. She was she was sick, so I think that's what gave me the idea.
Ok.
So, any questions on vocabulary or grammar here?
Swim the river. No, I'm okay.
Okay. Let's repeat. Actually, let me see if there's anything. So one of the highlights here, went, remembering what's went.
Went. Fui.
Yep. Uh, Terrible then.
Sick.
To get sick.
Get sick. Ficou doente.
Why not I was sick? Why is it better to say I got sick instead of I was sick?
É, eu estava doente. E aí ela fala que pegou uma doença, ou seja, provavelmente ela ainda está doente.
Yeah,
Ou
and
não.
well, I got sick. The main difference would be I got sick was fiquei doente instead of estava doente. So
Aham.
when we use the verb get with states like sick or cold or mad or hungry or whatever, the focus is going from not that to that, or in other words, being well to being sick, or the other way. I was sick and then I got well, so sick to
Uhum.
well, or happy to mad, or happy to sad,
Uhum.
or whatever it might be. Then the focus is on going from one to the other instead of being in that state. So if I say, I got sick last week and I was sick for 3 days.
Uhum.
So that's the difference, because I can't get sick for 3 days, right? You don't go 3 days getting sick,
Uhum.
but you can either stay sick or be sick for those 3 days after you get sick.
I
So
get it.
that's the main difference. All right, let's repeat. Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good.
Hi, Rachel. I'm good.
I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
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 See, I know you
Thursday.
can do it. It's just remembering. I already went.
I already went.
I was there last week.
I was there last week.
How was the weather?
How was the weather?
It was terrible, really cold.
It was terrible. Really cold.
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Cold what?
River. River.
River. River.
River.
And also, don't eat the Y.
Oh, ok. Sorry. Eu ia
Don't.
repetir. Você tá falando.
What do I mean when I say don't eat the Y?
Don't eat the Y.
Uh-huh. What is that? Why would I say don't eat the Y in that sentence?
Não coma o I.
Oh, Ypsilon. Where is there a Y that you ate? We
Ah,
got
é
a
verdade. River. River.
no. Y, Ypsilon.
Uh-huh.
We got a
Crazy.
crazy, not crazy. You have to,
Crazy.
so
Crazy.
remember the last sound of E, whether it's E like coffee, E like taxi, or E like crazy, that last sound, I always like to say it is the most arrogant sound in English. It always wants to be heard.
Okay.
It's
Crazy.
it's Leonino. It's a Leo. So because I can say that because I'm a Leo. So crazy instead of crazy. Because
Crazy.
if it were Portuguese, we would just let it die, right? It would be crazy. We got a crazy idea. Crazy idea. So it's
Crazy
crazy
idea.
crazy idea.
Crazy idea.
So
Crazy idea.
let's do that one again. Just up to crazy idea to swim. It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Cold what?
River. River.
River,
River.
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 Yeah.
River.
And that
River.
sucks because a lot of times when we have that E, then it's going to be I sound.
No.
Like when you get a little piece of wood in your hand or in your foot or whatever, that little piece of wood that you have to take out,
Okay.
that's called a sliver. So that's like sliver,
Liver.
river, sliver.
River. River.
But if we have motorista, how do you say motorista?
Driver.
Driver, right? So it seems to me like most of the time when we have that kind of situation, it's I. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but it seems like most of the time it would
River.
be like driver, but river and sliver,
River.
well,
Sliver.
except for like
River.
deliver is also the same thing. So maybe it's more, but it has both sounds, so we just have to be careful.
River.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
What does that mean? What does that sentence mean?
Você não devia ter feito isso.
Very good. Don't worry, I'm much better now.
Don't worry, I'm much better now.
And you, are you going to swim in the river?
And you, are you going to swim in the river?
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
Or, no, I'm not going to swim in the river.
No, I'm not going to swim in the
Nope.
river.
Let's try, I'm not going to swim in the river.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna swim in the river.
So remember, the reason for gonna is to keep going and not stop. I'm not going to swim in the river.
I'm not gonna swim in the river.
Very good. That's it. Very good.
I'm not gonna.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
All right. Let's go back and forth. You can start.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday.
I already went. I was there last week.
How was the weather?
It was terrible, really cold.
Don't eat the Y.
Really cold.
Really cold. Cold.
Cold.
Good.
Really cold.
Good. That's too bad.
That's too. Oh, não é pra repetir, sorry.
What does that's too bad mean?
Que pena.
Very good. Okay.
What a
What a shame. Yeah.
what a shame. É isso mesmo. That's too bad.
Or you remembered, I know you were thinking the third one, what a pity.
É.
Right? That's a shame. What a pity.
What a pity. Isso que eu ia lembrar.
That's too
It's
bad.
okay.
I think that's too bad is probably the best one. It seems to me that
Yes.
it's like what a pity is becoming a little bit outdated, it seems to me.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Cold what?
River.
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 Caramba, river,
Yeah.
river,
Good.
river,
That's better.
river.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Don't worry. I'm much better now. And you are going to swim in
Oh,
the river?
so there's a comma there. Not you are going to swim in the river. It's
And you, are you going to swim in the river?
no, I'm not gonna swim in the river.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
All right, I'll start. One thing before I forget, because I've already forgotten twice. When you were explaining what happens in the audio, you said the Rachel because you translated from Portuguese. But remember, names of streets and names of people, we don't use articles. So we would never say the Rachel, just Rachel.
Just
Rachel
Rachel.
says, Rachel said, whatever
Rachel
it may
said.
be.
Okay.
Let's start again. Hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. I'm going to New York with a colleague of mine next Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday. And how do you say livro?
Book.
How do you say
Book.
bone?
Good.
Good. See that? Remember, you hit
Good.
yourself.
Good.
Good.
Good. It's
Wood.
very hard to
Book.
make good.
Yeah, see? Don't, but just, yeah, don't, when you're saying it like, I'm good. Yeah, don't do that. But
No, no, no.
imagine it, but don't do it when you're actually talking to
Good.
somebody.
Good.
Uh,
I'm good.
See? There you go. I already
Oh,
went. I was there last week.
how was the weather?
It was terrible, really cold.
That's too bad.
It's okay, but I got sick after we got a crazy idea to swim in a cold river.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Don't worry, I'm much better now. And you, are you going to swim in the river?
No, I'm not going to swim in the river.
Have a nice trip, Jack.
Thank you.
Now let's try 10 with gonna.
Gonna. I'm not gonna swim the river. On the river. In the river. Oh,
One of those on, in, at, over. Let's try it once again. And so, two things. One, it's in the river. And the other thing is, remember that gonna is so that we can go with a smooth sentence and not
Gonna
stop.
swim. Gonna swim in the river. Gonna swim in the river.
And the whole sentence?
No, I'm not gonna swim in the river.
Very nice.
Quase uma nativa.
Almost.
Good.
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 Yeah, as long as you can get good and river, if you can get river, then you'll be almost native.
Good.
Okay. Very nice. Let's move on to our what did I do here? To lesson 46. 7, actually. Lesson 47. We already did 46. And here we go.
Good.
Alrighty. Lesson 47. What are we going to see?
Já fui lá. Weather versus climate.
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 Not mate. Climate.
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 Climate. Climate. Theater.
Good. Fantastic.
A play.
Mhm.
While you wait. To be careful. And much more.
And much more. Was that the right one? All right. Já fui lá.
I've been there. Expression used to say that you have been to certain place before and you can still go back. Have you been there? I've been there many times. I have been in Miami many times.
I have so, and that's not exactly wrong to say I've been in Miami, but usually what do we use? And this is a good time to actually talk about that. If I want to say, for example, let's talk about something that most Brazilians use incorrectly, which is eu conheço Miami.
I know Miami, but it's wrong
Good.
because I don't know Miami, all Miami. And
All of Miami, fantastic. So what should you say instead of I know Miami if you've, well, I don't want to give you the answer. Uh, if you don't know Miami,
yes, I know. But uh, in this case, I've been in
I've
Miami
I've been to is more common. And
to
that's the
Miami.
difference, right? Because we're talking
Okay,
about the trip there and not necessarily the fact that I was inside the city
okay,
limits. And
to
that's
Miami.
why most common when we talk about trips there, then we use the preposition to. So that's number one, and that's probably the number one in my experience. That's the number one use. What do you remember the other two ways we can say eu conheço Miami?
I've been, I
Mm-hmm.
know, se conhecer mesmo de fato, and I was there.
I and with was then I was in Miami, but that's a little bit different. That's not eu conheço, it's eu estava in Miami. So, I mean, basically it's close, but
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's the best. The other two would be I I have visited
I have
Miami,
visited.
and the
Yes,
other one would be I've gone to Miami.
I've gone. I've visited. I've been.
And notice that I've gone to, I've been to, and I've visited Miami. No
To.
preposition, just I've visited Miami. The thing about gone is you also use gone if you went to stay, if you moved to Miami. So, for
Uh,
example, if you have a friend, give me the name of a possible friend.
Camila Coelho.
Camila. Okay, so if you say you have a friend named Camila and someone else that you have another friend, and she asks, uh, "Have you seen Camila?" And you say, "Actually, she's gone to Miami." Right? If you just leave it at she's gone to Miami, then the idea is that she has gone to live in
Uh-huh.
Miami, to stay in Miami. I've I've seen teachers say that you use gone only if it's to stay, but I personally have used and I've heard it used where, for example, I've gone to Miami 5 times, where you can use gone not for a permanent stay or a permanent situation, but the same thing as I've been to Miami or I've visited Miami. So those are the three main ways to say eu conheço, unless, like you say, you know it well. If you know the place well, like we both know Palmas because we've lived here for many years, so we can say we know Palmas. But if like Miami is a very big city, you would have to either stay for quite a while to know it or actually live there.
Okay. I have gone. I've been there.
Now let's look
I,
at the last sentence.
I've been there many times.
Oh, don't eat the Y.
Many times.
Thank you.
I already went there.
When would I use I already went there?
Eu acabei de ir lá. Tipo,
How do we
acabei.
say acabei?
Ah, né, just.
Just. So I personally wouldn't say acabei with I already went there.
Eu já cheguei de lá. Já fui lá. Já
Já
fui
fui
lá.
lá. So what would be the difference if I said I've already been there and I already went there? Or I've already gone there and I already went there?
Ahn,